You should no longer cruise on cruise ships after the pandemic because cruise ships are dirty. That's an assertion that I've read this morning, and it made me wonder, are the cruise ships that were affected with the virus, were they dirty? We'll talk about it in today's episode of the Lido Loca Cruise Show. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Lido Loca Cruise Show. I'm your host, Tony. If you enjoy that daily cruising content, please consider subscribing with the notification bell on. That way you don't miss out on any of our episodes. So each morning when I pop up, one of the first things I like to do, jump on the internet and see what's going on. What's the hubbub, bub? What's going on in the cruising world? What's going on with cruise news? And I came across an article today, not unlike other articles I've read since I've been cruising, about why you should not go on a cruise ship. I came across an article on theguardian.com. I enjoy The Guardian. I get information from The Guardian. I read The Guardian. But they had one of those articles today telling you why you should not cruise, very straightforwardly titled, "Should Passengers Return to Cruise Ships After the Pandemic? ? Answer, no. Period. I'm like, all right, that piqued my interest. Let me read this article. And they make the points that many people do. Cruise lines, yes, they are ripe for infectious spread, especially infections that spread rapidly because of close quarters and close proximity. But they took it one step further in the Guardian article, basically saying that you shouldn't get on cruise ships because they're dirty. Let me read you a quote. Yes, you can get sick anywhere, but according to Tara C. Smith, professor of epidemiology at Kent State University, cruise ships genuinely amplify the risk of infection, in part because of close quarters on board, and in part because passengers are at the mercy of companies' hygienic standards. In 2019, Carnival Cruises failed sanitation inspections for offenses including brown water discharge from showers in the medical center and unclean food service utensils. So basically, the article is asserting that you should not get on cruise ships because they are dirty, and they offer up the evidence of failed Carnival inspections. But to be fair, they're offering up one failed inspection from 2019 on one cruise ship. I knew as soon as I read it, the cruise ship they were talking about, I covered this when the Carnival Fantasy famously failed with the worst score they've ever had earlier in 2019. And so, yes, the Carnival Fantasy on the one inspection failed with brown water, all the things that it says in the article. But can you draw a line from the Carnival Fantasy failing to the reason people shouldn't get on cruise ships and that they're at risk for the virus is because cruise ships are dirty? There's about 350 cruise ships out there. Is it fair to lump them all into the same bucket with one failing inspection back in 2019? So I thought, how can I make this clear for me? I popped over to the CDC's Vessel Sanitation Program website. These are the people that are in charge of these health reports that people cite. They have a program over there where the cruise lines have voluntarily submitted to surprise inspections up to twice a year, where they will be scored on a variety of things. There's an 8-point metrics. I'm going to share that with you. I'll throw it up right here. These are the things that they are looking at when they go inspect a cruise ship. And if you'll notice, in almost every category there, cleanliness is at the forefront. And then the other cool thing is they are also a clearinghouse for data for how cruise ships did. You can do a search on your favorite cruise ships, or you can even search for the cruise ships that were affected by the virus and see how their sanitation score is. You can put it to the test. Were the cruise ships where people contracted the virus, were they dirty cruise ships? And just for a point of reference, as we look at these scores, passing score is 86 or above. A failing score is 85 or below. The Carnival Fantasy scored all the way in the 70s on its failing score. But let's look at the cruise ships affected by the virus and see how they scored on their last 5 health inspections. All right, starting with the Grand Princess, they were last inspected in June of 2019. They scored a 93, a 98, a 100, a 90, and a 97. Another Princess cruise ship, the Coral Princess, that name may sound familiar, last inspected in October of 2019 with a score of 99. They've also scored an 89, a 94, a 95, and a 91. How about the Ruby Princess, last inspected in August of 2019, scoring a 100, followed by a 97, a 98, a 93, and another 100. the MS Zaandam, a very troubled ship for sure. Surely this ship couldn't be a clean ship with all the trouble it had. Last inspected in August of 2019, scoring a 99, a 98, a 95, a 99, and a 99. How about the Oasis of the Seas, my favorite cruise ship, last inspected in December of 2018, scoring a 98, a 93, a 95, a 97, and an 87. The Disney Wonder also challenges with the virus. I wonder how they did with their cleanliness. October 2019 was their last inspection, scoring a 100. And then the previous inspection, scoring a 100, a 97, a 96, and a 100. This is just a sampling of the cruise ships that were impacted by the virus. We looked at a few cruise lines there, and as you notice, the CDC, the people right now who have the no sail order, the people that are in charge of whether cruising can continue from United States ports, these are the people doing the inspections. And if you look at those inspections, those are not dirty cruise ships. But let's talk about the dirty cruise ship, the Carnival Fantasy, the one that was used for an example in this article. It's not on this list. I'll throw up the list of ships with trouble with the virus. The Carnival Fantasy is absent. But I do think it's a fair point to challenge people who want to go cruising, whether or not it is the best decision. But I think we need to focus on the main things. The thing that makes cruising a challenge going forward with a virus like the one that we're dealing with now is the close proximity. It is the inability to be distant from each other, more so than anything else. I think if we stick to the main things and work on that discussion, I think it'll be more productive. But just to throw out things like environmental transgressions in the past and some failing cruise ship reports and try to call the whole industry dirty, I don't think it's a fair argument to make, and I think it muddies the waters a little bit. It makes the waters a little brown, if you want to think of it that way. But that's just my opinion. What do you think? Cruise ships dirty, clean? I see people cleaning cruise ships all the time. I do believe that there is a emphasis on cleaning on cruise ships, more so than if I go to my local movie theater or to the mall. And so I'm not discouraged by the cleanliness of cruise ships. That's all I want to say. And again, I'm not too harsh on The Guardian. I do find a lot of good information there, but I just had that bone to pick. I did do a video on how to check the sanitation score of your next cruise ship. I'll leave a link there. And then YouTube thinks you should watch this video. I agree with them. Thank you so much for stopping by today. This is Tony with the Lido Loca Cruise Show. Please show your support for the show by hitting the like button. And until the next time, we'll see you on the Lido. Bye.